Well, I'm just hanging out. Not up to a whole lot at the moment. I got some ribs in the oven, getting ready to put them on the grill here in about an hour, so I figured I'd kill a little bit of time. And I came across this video here. This is the top 10 worst prisons in Africa. This looks crazy. And this is on WIN. That is the YouTube channel, 774K subscribers. I'll put it below. And it came out about 4 months ago, so it's been off a little bit. And figured I'd give this a go. So let's see what this is all about.
Toilets. A collection of plastic buckets.
Can't be good, man.
650 people.
I can explain my feeling.
Yikes, man. They gotta go to the bathroom in buckets.
Because of we are dying.
Behind towering walls and iron gates, a horrifying reality unfolds. A world where survival is a daily battle.
Probably overcrowded.
Across Africa, prisons meant for
Probably
rehabilitation
sweltering hot.
have become chambers of despair, marked by overcrowding, disease,
There you go.
and unrelenting violence. In Nigeria's Kirikiri Maximum Prison, cells
Kirikiri.
built for 20 now cram 60, forcing inmates to suffocate in their own misery.
Wow,
In
man.
Zimbabwe's Chikurubi Maximum
It said 60
Prison,
for the whole prison
over
or just per cell?
17,000 souls fight for air, water, and sanity. Kenya's Kamiti Maximum Prison is a battlefield of gang wars and sodomy, while Black Beach Prison
Yikes.
in Equatorial Guinea drowns its inmates in malnutrition and rat infestations. In the
Wow,
Democratic Republic of Congo, Kinshasa Penitentiary and Makala Central Prison redefine suffering, with inmates dying daily from hunger and brutality.
Wow.
Cameroon's Kondengui Central Prison and
Cameroon.
Malawi's Maula Prison are no better, overrun, unsanitary, and deadly. These are not prisons, they are death traps. Yet, for many, the worst punishment isn't the crime, it's being sent here. This is a grim journey
really.
into Africa's most notorious
I mean, hell, they say
prisons,
America's
where
prisons are
every
bad.
day is a fight to stay alive.
I'm sure that's nothing compared to these
Welcome to
places.
the world of research. Welcome to the large family of WIN, Wisdom in Narrations.
Wisdom and narrations. There you have it. That's gonna be brutal.
Number 1, Kirikiri Maximum Prison, Nigeria.
Nigeria.
Kirikiri Maximum Prison stands as a stark symbol of Nigeria's broken penal system. Built in the 1950s with a capacity for 1,700 inmates, it now houses over 5,000.
Good grief,
Cells
dude.
originally
Look at
designed
that.
for 20
No
now
fucking
cram
way.
50 to 60 people together, forcing prisoners to
There's
sleep in
no
shifts
way, dude. They
on
gotta
bare
sleep
floors
like that
or
every
standing.
night.
The environment is
Fuck,
suffocating.
man.
Poor ventilation breeds disease.
I mean, if you gotta go to the
malaria,
bathroom in the middle of the night, you
tuberculosis,
just
and
gotta
skin
literally
infections
just
are
roll
rampant.
over people, right?
Healthcare is virtually non-existent. Reports reveal that
And you're
some
definitely gonna
inmates
get your
die
ass
waiting
kicked
for
if you wake up
medical
the wrong
attention.
person.
The mortality rate is staggering. Unofficial estimates suggest dozens die each month.
Unofficial.
Their
Each
deaths
month.
rarely investigated or acknowledged. Malnutrition plagues the prison. Meals are meager, often consisting of watery porridge or beans unfit for consumption. Food shortages force
Well, I
prisoners
mean, hell,
to
food
rely on
shortages
family
are
support
rampant
or bribes
outside
to
of the
guards for
prisons.
sustenance. Those without such support
Well,
waste away
maybe
in
not
silence.
necessarily in Nigeria.
The
I'm just
prison's
maybe in the rural
notoriety
areas.
extends beyond its conditions. Accounts of torture and abuse by guards are chilling. Human rights organizations have documented instances of beatings, prolonged isolation, and outright extortion. Prisoners are forced to pay for privileges as basic as access to sunlight or a single bucket of water.
Damn.
Morning, the food they give us is not up to something. In the afternoon, we drink gari every time. Afternoon, night, gari. So even when we sleep, we don't have enough space to sleep. We're shocking ourselves. Like 25 and 90 people in a room. We're shocking ourselves together till morning.
Kirikiri's history is marked by scandals. In 2005, Amnesty International reported that over 70% of inmates were awaiting trial, some for over a decade. This systemic failure turns Kirikiri into a de facto holding facility for those presumed guilty without due process. In one high-profile case, Olusegun Obasanjo, former president of Nigeria, described witnessing horrific abuses during a visit in the 1970s, a period when conditions were less dire than today. More recently, in 2016, a video leaked from within Kirikiri revealed images of malnourished inmates and filthy, overcrowded cells.
Dude, that is
The
fucking
footage
mind-boggling.
caused outrage, but led to no significant reforms. Corruption and neglect have entrenched these conditions, making Kirikiri a near-death sentence for many. Among its inmates are political prisoners, petty criminals, and wrongfully accused individuals. Tales of injustice.
I mean, do they have
abound.
legal
In 2022,
representation at least?
a man
I don't
was
know.
released after spending 15 years awaiting
Probably
trial
not.
for a theft he did not commit. He emerged frail, with no compensation or recognition for the years stolen from him. Kirikiri's horrors reflect a larger crisis in Nigeria's justice system. It is a place where hope is extinguished and survival becomes the only goal. The cries of those within its walls are a haunting reminder of a system in desperate need of reform.
I mean, it looks like, I don't know what that is, like corn paste or something.
I never seen a worse place like this before in my life.
Number 2,
Wow.
Antananarivo Prison, Madagascar. Antananarivo
Madagascar.
Prison, cells built for 10 people often house over 40, leaving prisoners
Jeez.
with as little as 0.5 square meters of personal space.
Wow. Huh.
Nights are the worst.
I mean, they didn't look that unhappy there in the moment. But dude, you cannot be happy
affects
sleeping
nearly
like that.
70% of inmates, with rations often limited to 1 meal per day, consisting of rice and water.
Fuck, 1 meal a
Families
day.
of prisoners supply food to about 60%, leaving the remaining 40% reliant on the meager prison provisions or forced to endure hunger.
Wow.
I never seen a worse place like this before in my life. No.
The prison's lack of sanitation has led to outbreaks of cholera, typhoid, and tuberculosis. In
Rats.
2023 alone, over 150 inmates died from preventable diseases, with medical care virtually inaccessible for the majority of the population.
Damn, how the hell did that dude get in there?
There is only one medical professional assigned to serve the entire prison population.
Oh, maybe he's one of
resulting
the
in
relief
delayed or
aid
entirely
dudes.
absent treatment.
The hygienic conditions, intolerable. The inmates live among heaps of garbage.
Oh, yikes.
Disease isn't the only threat. Violence claims additional lives, with reports indicating at least 30 deaths annually due to guard brutality, inmate clashes, and unsanitary living conditions. The mortality rate at Antananarivo Prison is estimated at 8% annually,
Wow.
far exceeding global averages for prison facilities. Corruption compounds these horrors. Bribes, often ranging between
I was gonna say, there's
50,000
probably
to
nobody you can appeal
100,000
to.
Ariary, $10 to $20 USD, are required for access
I
to
doubt they can make a
basic
phone call
necessities
to,
such as
I
extra
don't know,
food,
their
clean water,
representative in
or medical
Congress or
attention.
whatever.
Those unable to pay endure worsening conditions.
I mean, you probably
creating a
couldn't get
system
that
of
far with that here
inequality
either,
among
but I mean,
inmates.
at least there's
Despite repeated
there's
warnings
a
from human rights
a
organizations,
certain process
Antananarivo Prison remains
where
a
you can actually like
humanitarian
escalate
disaster.
complaints and shit. There's
The
no way
numbers
that's
reveal
happening
a
here.
harsh truth. Survival here is a fight against overwhelming odds, and justice is all but absent for those trapped within its walls. Number 3, Makala Central Prison, Democratic Republic of Congo. Makala Central Prison in Kinshasa, Democratic Republic of Congo, is a stark representation of a failed system. Imagine a prison designed
Looks like they're
to
just
hold
leaving there to rot. I mean, you
1,500
think that
inmates,
they
now
would
confining over
have some like
15,000.
I don't
The
know. I
conditions
don't
are
know if
squalid,
hard labor is
both
the right
horrible and
way to put it, but
unimaginable. That's 10 times
think they'd
its
put 'em in,
intended
like,
capacity.
doing
Overcrowding
something
has
all
turned the
day.
facility into a cauldron of
Have 'em
despair,
grow their own
with
food, you know?
prisoners packed into every available space.
I don't know. What
In
do
the
I know?
Democratic Republic of Congo, DRC, Makala Prison holds over 15,000 inmates, far exceeding its 1,500 capacity. Most are in pre-trial
probably be my first
detention,
question.
creating inhumane conditions.
Life in Makala is defined
I mean, I
by
get it. You
suffering.
don't want them to escape or
Reports of
anything.
sexual
You
violence
probably don't
are
want to let them out of the
disturbingly
prison,
common,
but
with vulnerable inmates subjected
something
to
they can
relentless
probably do.
abuse.
some sort of like
Guards,
production or
often
whatever.
complicit or indifferent, wield power unchecked. Deadly force is frequently used to silence dissent, with protests over food shortages or mistreatment met with brutal crackdowns.
Of course, they can't show too
Disease
much because it's
spreads
YouTube.
rapidly within the overcrowded cells. Malnutrition weakens inmates who are forced to survive on inadequate and
Probably rice
sporadic
and more
rations.
rice.
Families are often the
I can't
only
stand
lifeline,
rice, man. That would
providing
drive me
food
absolutely
and basic
insane.
necessities
I'm one
for
of the
those in
few
prison.
people on
For
earth that
others,
doesn't like
hunger
rice.
becomes a slow death sentence.
I'll eat it if I have
Makala's
to,
grim
but I really don't
reputation
like
gained
it.
international attention during the 2017
I don't like
mass
pasta
prison break,
either.
when hundreds of inmates fled,
Weird as hell.
highlighting the systemic failures within the facility. The response was swift and severe, with many escapees captured and
The hell, in this
executed
situation,
without
you're not
trial.
turning anything away.
Makala Central Prison is not merely overcrowded, it is a place of relentless torment. Its walls conceal a relentless cycle of violence, neglect, and death. For the thousands trapped inside, every day is a fight for survival, and
Plus the
every
heat,
moment is a
the
stark
humidity,
reminder
probably
of
the
humanity's
malaria.
darkest failures.
I mean, I think the DRC sits on the equator, doesn't it? I think, or it's damn near close
Number
to it.
4, Lusaka Central
But
Correctional
I think it runs
Facility,
through it. I think the
Zambia.
equator runs right through
Deep
that
within
country, I think.
Zambia, Lusaka prison looms as a symbol of neglect and inhumanity. Built to house a single inmate per cell, it now crams up to 15 prisoners into spaces meant for one. Ventilation is almost
15
non-existent,
when it was built for one.
and the air inside reeks of decay, sweat, and sickness.
I mean,
The
that can't be a
overcrowding
one-person
fuels
cell,
rampant
though.
Disease. Tuberculosis spreads unchecked, claiming lives in silence. Prisoners suffer from chronic nasal
But I mean, it's hard to
congestion
tell. Is
caused
this
by the
actual stock
suffocating
footage from each one of these
conditions.
prisons?
Rodent
I'll take them at
infestations
their
further
word.
degrade the already dire environment.
It's just hard to know sometimes with
rats
YouTube
scavenging
because a
among
lot.
inmates
It
for
might
food
seem like
scraps.
more like stock footage from who
Malnutrition
knows
weakens
where.
the body. Hopelessness destroys the mind. Guards at Lusaka are infamous for brutality. Prisoners recount harrowing tales of beatings, extortion, and degrading punishments. Survival often depends on bribing guards for basic necessities, a luxury many cannot afford. In 2018, Lusaka gained international attention when it housed condemned prisoners from the infamous Mapenzi massacre.
Ooh.
The inhumane conditions faced by these inmates prompted calls for international intervention, but little changed. That same year, an outbreak of tuberculosis swept through the prison, killing over 30 inmates in less than 6 months. No reforms followed. Lusaka is not just a prison, it is a place of unrelenting suffering. Its walls conceal a harrowing truth about Zambia's justice system. With every passing day, the cries of its forgotten prisoners grow louder. The question remains, will anyone listen?
And what's scary about this shit,
Chikurubi
man,
maximum
like
prison.
you could probably imagine, or at least I can imagine, somebody isn't like they're a shopkeeper or something in some local village, and some asshole, some like local like mafia type dude is going around extorting them for bribes and shit, and maybe one guy finally stands up to him and he's like, "No, dude, I don't have any money. I'm not giving you anything this time." So then he ends up calling, the police who he's got in his pocket, and they end up throwing you in a hellhole like this just because, you can't take it anymore. You don't have enough food for your family, and you just cannot afford to be extorted anymore. I mean, I'm sure that even that happens all the time. Just people who have no business being in here at all.
Zimbabwe.
And they're just,
long he's got left to live.
I don't know, man, a victim
In
of
Zimbabwe's
corruption.
prisons, any jail sentence can become a death sentence.
Or even maybe somebody who's in local politics and they're not going to play ball
grim monument to inhumanity.
with whoever's trying to strong arm the community.
Fewer inmates, it now
And they end up setting
confines
you up
over
with some
17,000
horse shit,
souls
and then you get thrown in this
conditions
place.
that defy description. Within its walls, cells measuring 9 meters by 4 meters are crammed with up to 50 prisoners each. The suffocating congestion
9 meters
steals
by
air
4
and
meters.
hope alike. Water is a rare commodity in Chikurubi. Inmates struggle to find clean drinking water, bathe, or even flush the overflowing toilets. Filth accumulates,
My bad.
breeding disease and despair. Without adequate health care, treatable conditions turn fatal. Malnutrition is rampant. Prisoners receive meals so sparse and poor in quality that starvation looms constantly. Brutality is a daily reality. Guards mete out savage punishments, often leaving prisoners maimed or dead. Mental health deteriorates rapidly under these conditions. Many inmates lose their sanity, locked away for days without sunlight or fresh air. Chikurubi's name became globally infamous during the 2015 hunger strike, where prisoners protested unbearable living conditions. Authorities responded with violent crackdowns, resulting in dozens of injuries and deaths.
Wow.
In the aftermath, no meaningful reforms were enacted.
No, of course not.
Horrific situation. I mean,
By the way, 9 by 4
it is
meters,
bad.
that's less than 400 square
Bad.
feet.
People are dying because of diseases and overcrowding.
This prison is not merely a detention facility, it is a factory of suffering. It reflects the failures of a broken system where the most vulnerable are forgotten, their humanity stripped away. Chikurubi Maximum Prison is a stark reminder of the urgent need for change, but the question remains,
Don't forget to
who will
subscribe,
rise
man.
to demand it?
Go up there and give them a subscription.
Number 6.
This is a
Kamiti
crazy
Maximum
video.
Prison, Kenya.
Exclusive pictures show the bare floor where the inmates sleep. Only the privileged few have beddings. Everyone else, though, sleeps on the floor. Their belongings have to be hung precariously just above each prisoner off the ground.
Kamiti Maximum Prison, Kenya's largest and most
makes me wonder if they have to deal with flooding
is a grim testament
during the monsoon
to human
season.
Suffering. Originally built to detain
I don't know, though. Maybe Kenya's drier than I
inmates,
think it is.
It now houses thousands, including political prisoners who often face relentless persecution.
Yep, see, they didn't want to play ball, so they got thrown in prison.
Inmates are not only brutalized by guards, but also by fellow prisoners. Beatings are a daily occurrence, and reports of convicts being killed by their peers remain alarmingly common. The lack of oversight creates a dangerous hierarchy where survival depends on strength and fear.
Kamiti Maximum Prison, a home to more than 2,000 inmates serving different jail terms, most of whose cases are as a result of murder and robbery violence. Crimes some of the convicts never committed is the solid reason why they are behind these solid walls under the eagle eyes of the police.
The prison is rife with indignities. Sodomy is a horrifying reality, leaving countless victims traumatized and voiceless. Malnutrition weakens bodies, while outbreaks of cholera and ulcers wreak havoc on the population. Access to medical care is almost non-existent, and those who fall ill often succumb without treatment. Kamiti gained infamy during Kenya's post-independence era for detaining
it's probably hard enough to find healthcare
dissidents,
outside,
but the
let alone
conditions
inside.
remain unchanged.
That's what's so nightmarish about these
2021,
prisons, man.
International outrage followed the death of
many
an
of these
inmate
regions in Africa,
whose
they're
case
bad enough
revealed
just
systemic
you know,
violence
being
and
out on your,
neglect.
like, not even in
Despite
prison.
promises of reform, Kamiti remains a place where justice is a distant dream.
I mean, it
This
seems like,
prison is
you
not
know,
just a
like hell
facility.
before a death
It is a
sentence.
harrowing reminder of the abuse and neglect
They blend
within
it together.
Kenya's correctional system.
Poverty and retrogressive legal measures have been cited as major factors that have contributed to many people serving jail terms they don't deserve.
And you know, the World Food
This comes
Program
even as the Human
and
Rights Wing
all the
continue
other
to push for the
nonprofits, you know,
abolition
none
of
of that
the
food's
penalty.
finding its way into
Kamiti
these
Maximum
places.
Prison holds not only its
And I'm sure they
inmates,
allocate
but
some
also the
food
unanswered cries
to
for
places like
humanity
this,
and
but
reform.
maybe not, maybe not.
Will its walls ever
Maybe it's
witness
against their
change?
policy because they're quote-unquote criminals.
Number 7, Black Beach Prison,
Black
Equatorial
Beach
Guinea.
Prison.
Perched on Bioko
That on its
Island
own
in
sounds like a
Equatorial
nightmare.
Guinea, Black Beach Prison is a name synonymous with despair and brutality.
Yeah, can imagine.
Renowned as one of Africa's most infamous prisons, it is a place where survival is a daily battle.
One of Africa's most
Overcrowding
infamous
defines
prisons.
this prison's grim reality. Cells meant for a handful of inmates are packed beyond capacity, forcing prisoners to sleep on floors teeming with filth and rodents. Rat infestations are common, spreading disease and further degrading the already
You'd think they
inhumane
would have these
conditions.
prisoners work around the
Women and
clock to just
children.
add on to it.
You've got drug
Have them
addicts,
build
you've
more
got,
walls, build more
mental
rooftops.
people.
Everyone in there.
If you've
I mean,
done
I'm sure
wrong,
there's probably an issue with
you know,
supplies
they
and
don't
money
want
and
you-
whatnot.
You know,
They just put you there.
Yeah.
But I mean,
Malnutrition
one
is
thing
a
that they could
constant
do,
threat.
they
Prisoners
could
are
build the prison
subjected to
bigger, have all the
inadequate and
inmates do it.
irregular meals, leaving them
God, that
weakened
thing
and
looked
prone
nasty,
to chronic
man.
illnesses. Access to medical care is almost non-existent.
I'm assuming
and
maybe
diseases
COVID.
like tuberculosis and malaria.
Or yeah, I
claim
guess it could be
countless lives
any
behind the
other
prison's
rampant
walls.
disease.
Guard brutality adds another layer of horror. Beatings and torture are routine, often inflicted to intimidate and dehumanize inmates. Black Beach has earned a reputation for silencing political prisoners, dissidents, and anyone the regime deems a threat. Stories of prisoners vanishing without a trace
I wonder why
serve
she had
as
a
chilling
vote button
warnings.
on there. Obviously
Black
a
Beach
stock clip.
Prison is not merely a detention center, it is a chamber of suffering. Its reputation as a place of untold horrors is well earned, reflecting the systemic neglect and oppression within Equatorial Guinea.
Jeez.
For those imprisoned here, the question is
The
not
cell
if
looks
they
like
will
it burned
survive,
down.
but for how long.
I don't know, man.
Number 8,
If I was the warden,
Holsmore
that's what
Prison,
I'd be
South
trying
Africa.
to do. I don't
Holsmore
know how
Prison
you
in
get
South
money for
Africa
it, but
stands as a chilling emblem of lawlessness and despair.
just have them work
Known as
construction.
the most notorious prison in the
Try
country,
to build the prison out.
It is a place where violence and overcrowding define daily life.
Single cell.
I mean, there's
crammed
always
with
going to be inmates. They're going to be
86
funneling
detainees.
into there,
It was designed
especially if the
for
population keeps
19.
growing.
They all share one shower and a toilet, but often it's just a bucket.
Designed to house
Just a damn
3,900
bucket.
inmates, Holsmore now cages over 9,000, creating a pressure cooker of tension and conflict.
It is all overcrowded, all of
Overcrowding
them.
has reached critical levels, forcing prisoners to sleep in shifts.
Although to be
on the
fair,
cold, damp floors.
I'd like to know
The
which
lack of
prisons
space
out there
breeds
anywhere in the world are
disease,
not
malnutrition,
overcrowded.
and despair.
Because they
Death
say all the
is a
prisons in the
frequent
U.S.
visitor,
are also
with the
overcrowded.
mortality rate climbing alarmingly high each year.
I mean, it's nothing
Inside
like this,
Pollsmoor,
though.
Gangs reign supreme. Violent factions control every aspect of prison life, from access to food and water to the enforcement of brutal hierarchies. New arrivals are often subjected to gang initiations, leaving them broken and vulnerable. Guards, overwhelmed and under-resourced, are unable or unwilling to intervene. Pollsmoor's infamy grew when Nelson Mandela was detained here in 1982.
Not that I'd go looking for it,
While
but you
Mandela's
probably
story
could
is
see
one of
some
eventual
really fucked up
triumph.
shit
For most inmates,
in
the
these
narrative ends in
prisons,
suffering.
possibly on like the dark web or
Stories
something.
of stabbings, sexual violence, and extortion.
There's some
are
brutal
common,
prison videos
reflecting a
from
prison system on the
like
brink of
Latin America
collapse.
and probably Asia.
He says Pollsmoor was
I know Latin
designed
America.
during
I've seen a
apartheid
couple of them.
when prisons were meant to
Fucking
break
brutal, man.
black
Those fights and
inmates,
shit,
not
and like what they
rehabilitate
use
them.
to
Pollsmoor prison
torture
is
people.
not
It's
just a
crazy.
correctional facility. It is a microcosm of societal failure. Its overcrowded cells and gang-controlled corridors serve as stark reminders of the urgent need for reform in South Africa's justice system. But with the chaos inside, one must ask, is change even possible?
I mean, not if they keep going down this road, it isn't.
Number 9, Kondengui Central Prison, Cameroon.
Yeah.
Kondengui Central Prison, also known as Yaoundé Prison in Cameroon, is a grim symbol of overcrowding and neglect.
Like an ocean of just
Originally
people.
designed to house 1,500 inmates, it now crams over 9,000 people into its
Whoa.
deteriorating facilities. The result is a crushing environment where survival is a daily battle.
Life is unbearable in this prison. As prisoners, we call it the concentration camp. There are 1,300 prisoners, but only 3 toilets and 1 shower. Hygiene here is non-existent. People do what they have to do all over the place.
Overcrowding has reached catastrophic levels. Inmates are forced to sleep on floors, in hallways, and in any available corner.
Yeah, see, that looked
surrounded
like
by
some
filth.
footage because they're giving
Poor
courtesy
sanitation
to
exacerbates
an organization,
the misery,
Amnesty
with
International.
overflowing latrines and unclean water spreading diseases like cholera and dysentery.
You have to pay to breathe. The food is revolting. In the morning, a 10-litre bucket of food is delivered to each cell. Each prisoner
And you
gets
know
less
some of
than
those
half
people
a
are
bowl
probably
of
trying to
food.
catch those rats too.
Some prisoners were punished for stealing or having
Right.
forbidden possessions.
Can only
Food
imagine.
scarcity adds to the suffering. Inmates receive meager, nutritionally inadequate rations, leaving many malnourished. Those without families to bring food face constant hunger. The lack of medical care compounds the dire conditions. Treatable illnesses go unattended, and preventable deaths are a common occurrence. In 2019, Kondengui drew international attention when inmates staged a protest against the appalling conditions. The authorities responded with brutal force, injuring many and leaving others dead. Despite promises of reform, the situation remains unchanged. Kondengui Central Prison is not a place of rehabilitation. It is a human warehouse, rife with neglect and suffering. Its
Yeah, that's a
overcrowded
good way to
cells
put it,
and dire
actually.
conditions serve as a stark
human
reminder
warehouse.
of systemic failure.
Like,
For those
you know,
trapped
death's
inside,
waiting
the
room.
question of justice feels like a distant,
Hell's waiting room,
unattainable
actually.
dream. Number 10, Maula
Here's the
Prison
last
in
one.
Lilongwe, Malawi. Maula Prison
Malawi.
in Lilongwe is a harrowing example of systemic neglect. Built to accommodate 500 inmates, it now houses up to 1,500, turning its cramped cells into overcrowded spaces of despair.
What the hell is this lady
Overcrowding
doing there?
defines daily life. Inmates are forced to sleep in shifts, lying shoulder to shoulder
500,
on
1,500.
cold, damp
That's not as
floors.
overcrowded as some of the
Poor
other examples,
sanitation
though.
worsens the misery, with overflowing toilets and contaminated water leading to
Wow.
frequent outbreaks of diseases
Yeah,
like
no
cholera
way.
and dysentery. Food is scarce and inadequate.
Have the prisoners
rely
clean
on a
it up,
single
bag it
meal
up,
a day,
and
often
I don't
consisting
even
of
know
little
what.
more than
I
a
mean-
handful of maize. Malnutrition is widespread.
Of course, you got to get your
leaving
hands on some
inmates
cleaning
too weak
supplies.
to endure the harsh conditions. Medical care is nearly non-existent. Minor illnesses go untreated, and preventable deaths occur regularly.
I mean, I'm sitting
Maula's
here thinking of all these
overcrowding and
solutions, but I'm
neglect
sure
are
it's a lot
compounded
easier
by
said
a
than
lack
done.
of resources and
Otherwise, they
oversight.
probably would be doing it.
Many prisoners remain detained for years.
But who knows?
without
Maybe they
trial,
really want them treated
trapped
like
in
this.
a system that denies them basic human rights.
When I was under death penalty, unimaginable happened. First time, there came a list of 21 prisoners to go for the hanging.
In 2015, a cholera outbreak swept through the prison, killing dozens and highlighting the appalling conditions to the world. Despite international calls for reform, the situation remains dire. Maula prison is not just overcrowded, it is a place where hope diminishes daily. Its inhumane conditions reveal a justice system in need of urgent change. For those confined within its walls, the future feels as bleak as the present. According to you, which of the above prisons do you consider the worst?
Oh, it's impossible to even tell, to be honest.
Comment section.
Yeah, that's that. I mean, it's really impossible to tell. I couldn't even tell you which one's the worst. I mean, the last example wasn't the most overcrowded one, but I don't know, man. I guess you could leave a comment, but they all looked equally horrific. I mean, that was bad on every level. I mean, absolute hell, man. Like, even prisoners in the U.S., I mean, they think they got it bad. They really don't, not compared to places like that. Now, I know that there are some circumstances where prisons in America where they don't have AC, air conditioning, or climate control. In fact, for all I know, maybe most prisons are like that. I'm pretty sure on Florida's death row, they don't have air conditioning. They just have to deal with the summer heat and the humidity and all that. I think all they can do is like open up their windows, or hell, even if they even have a window. I don't even know if they even have a window. But anyway, this is the channel, WIN Wisdom and Narrations. Go ahead and give them a follow. I promise I will not unsubscribe from them. And I'll check out some more of their videos and see what else they have. I mean, I don't want to really binge watch, especially, you know, like adding videos to my channel. I just kind of want to just check out one here, one there. But, I mean, look at this, man. They got all kinds of stuff. There's that one. That came out 4 months ago. So they're keeping their channel current. And, I mean, it wasn't a bad video. I mean, they had stock footage. I mean, it looked legit for the most part. They had a couple of questionable spots in there, but I mean, it looked like they did a pretty bang up job as far as making it look as legit as they could. But yeah, that's basically all I got for now. So, man, that sucks. So, I mean, hopefully their circumstances will get better. I mean, I don't, kind of at a loss for words. I mean, figure out a way to haul out the trash and try to scrub the floors clean somehow. I guess you need cleaning supplies, and I mean, they've got the manpower. That's one thing they've got an overabundance of, is just people to put to work. So I don't know, man. I hope they figure that out, because that was brutal. That was tough to watch. So anyway, that's all I got. See ya.